You guys don't see what I'm seeing down below in the lower thirds. There is Walt dressed up like he's 12 years old. All right, welcome. What is it? It is February 9th. Wow, February 9th, a few days before Valentine's Day. I remember the last time was Valentine's Day, and a woman said to me, "Will you please smother me with kisses?" And I actually got a pillow and wrote X's on it and put it right over her head for about 30 seconds. Anyway, tonight's a special show. It's about wrestling. When I grew up in the kids, 60s, 70s, 80s, so wrestling was a big thing. I wasn't a big fan of wrestling. I really wasn't a big fan. I was in it for like a little time, in and out of it. And then as soon as I found that it was fake, like women's orgasms, I kind of just jumped ship. But I don't know. We have a great guest coming up tonight, and apparently I don't think he's here. I hope he's here. If not, we'll have to make fun of him, Gary. This guy, Gary. So in the meantime, let's bring on, who's my new co-host here? Hot Rod Papaleo. All right, Hot Rod Papaleo. Come on up, Hot Rod. That's hot. You and Hot and Rod is giving me really bad anxiety. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one Levy used to do. That's the impression he's
yeah. Listen, you're over there saying Valentine's Day. It ain't Valentine's Day, sucker. It's Valentine's Day.
Okay.
I hate when people, I'll break necks when I hear stuff like that.
I think we just reduced this whole 34 episodes to like, we're just like,
nothing.
We're just the blah, 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 blah. Next
now, this is the official Coors Light hat of the American Cancer Society.
Next week, you could play Shem.
Play Shem. I'm a big wrestling guy. Listen, I told you before the show, you don't need to know about wrestling. You just need to know how to make fun of the wrestlers that we grew up with. Do we need Gary Michael Cappeta, the ring announcer from the 70s?
It would be nice if he was here. We did it. He did say he was going to be here. By the way, we're
going to be here.
Valentine's Day is the 14th. No kidding. I know that. I said it's coming up. What's coming?
Who said that?
Rick C. And this is Dan Dave. Nah.
Woo! There he is. Woo! That's Ric Flair does that. Woo!
So I don't know, when it comes to wrestling, you were a big wrestling fan as a child, huh?
I was a big wrestling. Was wrestling back then.
Okay.
Wrestling. Yeah, I was a big fan, man. I was there when Hulk Hogan beat the Iron Sheik. I wasn't at the Garden. It was at the Garden, but I was in the Felt Forum, which is the Paramount Theater, watching it on a closed circuit TV. That's how much I wanted to see this.
You were into, and I see you wore the cutoff sleeves here today, proving that you
I couldn't find a tank top. I'm going to Jamaica tomorrow, and I don't even have a tank top.
Yeah, man. Jamaica, man. Yeah, man.
Going to Jamaica.
Good time. Smoky spliff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Going to Jamaica.
Jamaica's great. As a matter of fact, I was in Jamaica once with a friend of mine, and we went to the Ganji fields. We had a guy named Christmas, and he took us to the Ganji fields. And in the Ganji fields, my friend decided to like walk off. I don't know what he was doing. He's like walking off. And this guy had this big like machete knife, and he was like, hey man, where's your friend? I was like, I don't know. He goes, you better find your friend, man. He's like ready to kill me. Like, what's he doing? Cutting up your stuff? I mean, I don't know what he's doing.
Well, I ain't going off of the ranch, man. I'm staying right there because I want to come home alive to take that COVID shot.
Oh, yeah. Are you going to take the COVID shot?
I am not taking the COVID shot. You can't get it through these guns. Yeah. I'm actually scared of myself how good I'm doing that.
Slip into Slim Jim. There you go.
No, here, I'll do that. Ready? Step into a Slim Jim. Yeah.
You're like an 8-year-old. I think it's funny.
I love it, man. Who's that?
I was booked this weekend, but I had to cancel because he knew you were going to be there. He decided to pump out. He did. Yeah, Jamaica's great. Jamaica's cool. Jamaica's really, really cool. I like Jamaica. As a matter of fact,
I've never been there. Never been.
I performed there for about 10 days many years ago, and they drove us from the capital to Negril like every day. It was like over the mountain, and it took like 2-3 hours.
You can't leave the resort. That's what I heard. You can't leave the resort.
Listen, I will tell you this about the Jamaican. First of all, they're beautiful people, really. Underneath, they're beautiful people. The thing is,
Yeah, except the drug dealers, they're not.
everyone's scamming, and everyone's trying to scam. And so when they're doing the scams, like, so if you got to show no mercy. I had like this big gold 1980s Mr. T starter kit kind of bracelet. I still have it. It's like huge. One of those big. I don't know why I had it in the 80s, and I had it, and the guy came. We rented motorcycles and we were driving around the island and stuff. And some guys, like 5 or 6 guys, came around me and they were like, "Hey man, we really like that gold thing." And I said to them, "I will." I'm just about to curse. I said to them, I will effing bang you up so hard right now. You better start looking the other way. And I wasn't even saying the words.
You don't even know how to curse. You don't even know how to curse.
And they all went, whoa, no, man, it's all good. It's all good, brother. It's all good, brother. Yeah. They were, because I knew where they were going. They were trying to intimidate me. And so, as soon as you show me ain't taking any BS, they're out. So I'm just telling you now, if you get out of the resort,
don't mess with me. I got 8 puppets right here with me.
You do that and you'll be fine.
I got 8 puppets that'll take you down, brother. Anyway, so we're bringing up old wrestlers from the 70s. Listen, anybody could bring up Hulk Hogan. Anybody could bring up the Macho Man. Anybody could bring up Roddy Piper. I'm talking earlier than that. We're talking. Okay. This is where we used to have to watch it midnight on Saturday night, Channel 9. Half of your eye is sleeping because you're tired, and you're watching it, and you know who was going to win every time, but you had to watch it.
Okay, so let's bring one up.
Bring him up.
I'd like to introduce our guest, but he's not here.
He's not here. Gary, this was the ring announcer. When I saw him, they used to say, in this corner, weighing 242 pounds from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Special Delivery Jones. And in this corner, and my name is Gary Michael Cappeta. And that's the ring announcer. And I thought it was cool to have him on, but it's evidently he thinks it's cooler not to come on.
Polish power. We were just talking about this before we went on.
All right, we're going to bring up the Polish power.
Putski. But there's something we didn't talk about. Lucha Libre, which was we didn't speak about that.
Yeah, Lucha Libre is actually Spanish or Mexican for wrestling. And we used to watch that on Sunday at 6 o'clock. It used to be on, and then it would also be on Channel 47, Championship Wrestling from Florida. And you'd have to sit through all the El Sol commercials and everything in Spanish just so you could watch the wrestling that was in English.
Makes sense. When you said Lucha Libre was Spanish, my first thought was it was Jewish soup. But okay, I'm way off.
Lucha Libre.
Lucha Libre. So anyway, what happened? Just tell the folks, tell all 600 of those people out there, what was the deal with? We had this guy coming up, and he said it was good. He was all set. We sent him the link. He's all good. And what happened?
All good. Yeah, all good. And where is he? Wah, wah, wah.
So we're just nowhere. He's not coming, I guess.
I guess he's not coming unless he's going to show up in the show.
Okay. All right. Hopefully he was. We won't say anything bad till later.
I'm going to say something bad, though, if you don't come on.
Not now, because if he shows up in the middle of the show, he'll be like, oh,
just
sorry.
in case he comes on.
We just really dished you bad, man. We really dished you.
Sorry. I like Joe McHugh better anyway.
What was the guy?
Wrestling fans would know who that is.
What was this guy's name, by the way? Mr.
Gary Michael Cappeta.
Okay. That's what I give him. All right, so far.
Who's our first guy?
First guy's up is somebody that's been around a long time. Now,
that guy was the Macho Man before Macho Man. That is superstar Billy Graham.
And he was in great shape. Look at the biceps on that guy.
Look at that guy. He was a champion for, I want to say he was champion for about 7 years. He was the heel, the bad guy champion. So he took the title from Bruno Sammartino back in the 70s, and he held it all the way up until they gave it to Bob Backlund.
You know, I worked out. I was just starting to work out then. You know, my muscles are the same as that guy's, but, well, a little bit smaller now. But I worked out, and there you go. Actually, you look like you lost some weight too, right? Since you had the sex change, things are going nice. Going good.
I did.
Yeah. So I worked out in a gym on 13th Avenue in Brooklyn called Iron Masters Gym in the 70s.
Yeah.
And Bruno not Bruno.
You are such a
Billy
loser.
Graham had come in there. I don't know if he lived in Brooklyn or he just came in once in a while, but he came in and worked out. And this was just a smelly, dirty gym with just a bunch of free weights and stuff. And
yeah, they love that.
Yeah, it was just simple. Just simple.
That's what they could afford. This guy, his name was Superstar Billy Graham, but his real name was Wayne Coleman.
Wayne Coleman, and there was a bar where they said, if I remember, it was 600 pounds, whatever. He was benching like 600 pounds or whatever, and the bar, maybe it was 500. I don't know what it was. Whatever it was, it bent, and they hung it on the wall, and he signed the wall, Superstar Billy Graham, because he lifted the most weight anyone could.
Did he really?
Bar bent, and they put the bent bar on the wall on hooks, and he just signed it. And that's Jim. It was back in the 70s, and it was like a big thing that he came to the gym, worked out, and it was.
Yeah, but that was back when they weren't admitting that it was real. I mean, it was fake. They were fighting you if it was real. I mean, if you remember.
Yeah, but fake. Think about it. Fake, or even if it's real or fake, the bottom line is when somebody hits you with a chair, they hit you with a chair. Even if
back then they didn't do that though. They didn't do that back then. Now they make those breakaway chairs and guys just know it's part of the gig, man.
People getting flipped around. I remember seeing people get banged up and people getting hurt and flipped. It's got to look. I don't know about you. If you slam me on the floor, even if I know how to get full on the floor, it's not good. Definitely not good.
Listen to me. Never again on one of these shows say if you slam me on the floor. Never.
Yeah, that's that. Thank you very much. That's it.
So the Superstar Billy Graham was one of the big time wrestlers back in the 70s.
And by the way, Superstar, if I remember, also wasn't he the guy that had a lot of issues with anabolic? How do you say it?
Anabolic
steroids.
Yeah, he couldn't even walk.
And he came out after it and started telling people you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, hip replacements all over the place. That guy.
Yeah.
I think his hip replacements needed hip replacements.
Yeah, I do remember there was like a lot of stuff, and he came out against steroids back in the day.
But he was a big guy back then.
I got a quick comment here. Fabulous Moolah ladies.
Yep.
Champion, and today they would never be able to air the politically incorrect midget wrestlers. Well, it's funny you say that because one of the ones that I have coming up here in the brand that Walt sent to me was Little People. Well,
that was the Haiti Kid.
Oh, you know who it is? I don't know who.
Of course I knew who it was. That's the Haiti Kid. There was only about 8 of them.
Really?
That was it.
Piled up on one another?
They took up 4 seats on the bus. That was it.
All the other wrestlers were nuts over them?
Yeah, I mean, it was him and it was Skylo Low.
There's one more.
That was it. That's Skylo Low.
Wow. Oh, and by the way, I have to bring this up. There's a comedian friend of mine that I've known for 100 years. He does, and every time I see him, I say, please do the bit. Please do the bit. Do you know who I'm talking about?
You said Bob Levy?
No. Bob Levy loves wrestling, but no. Comedian friend of mine. He lived in Long Island, and now he lives down here. It's Dan
Wilson?
Dan Wilson, yeah. So Dan Wilson used to close his show, and it's politically incorrect now. He probably won't do it any longer. But he used to say, do you remember when we were little kids, there was this thing called midget wrestling?
Yeah.
And what he does, Dan would actually, it's hard for me to do, but he would actually stand up and bend his body down a certain way and tuck his arms in, and he'd walk, he'd run around in a circle on stage, going like with the way they flap back and forth.
That's hilarious.
And he would go back and go, come on and get me. And he'd run around the stage. It would kill me. I would cry every time he did it.
They were angry. Those little people, guys, whatever they were. They had little girls too that wrestled.
That's right. Now you gave me a picture. All right. So you know this guy is who?
Haiti Kid.
Okay. And this guy?
Skylo Low.
And who's the chick?
That's the Fabulous Moolah.
Oh, that's fabulous. I don't remember. I wasn't in.
That's the Fabulous Moolah. She held a championship forever, only because my guess is there weren't that many women wrestlers. She was the only one who did it all the time, so she was the champ all the time, and she fought little wrestlers here and there.
Did she shave those legs on her? Or she looks like she didn't shave the legs there. I'm like, I don't know. They kind of look like a guy's legs.
I got to tell you, when Hulk Hogan and all of them came out, the Rock and Wrestling with Cyndi Lauper, she was still around, and she had to be in her 70s, and she was wearing like a leopard skin white leopard colors, bathing suit type of leotard with everything hanging out of it. It was just really disgusting.
Never let the old lady in or let the old stuff
No,
in.
yeah, this all is hanging down, and I was like, ugh.
Well, I mean, to me, this looks like a 1950 like cowgirl kind of thing. It's kind of strange.
She does. She does look like a cowgirl. But yeah, that's the fabulous moolah.
Let me just take another comment here while we're here. Hang on. So Tom brought that up about that, and Dan was like, "If Hulk Hogan and Macho Man had a kid, it would be Billy Graham." Yeah, that's very true. You're right.
That is true. That is true because Hogan modeled himself after Billy Graham, and Macho Man, he sounds just like Billy Graham. So yeah, he's right.
Johnny Colossus here. Hello, good evening, gentlemen, and excuse the exaggeration. That's a good line. And Arlene is here. Hi, Arlene. I'm supposed to call you.
Hello, Arlene.
I'm going to call you tomorrow. I've been working on ideas for that. And who's this? Brian Papaleo, Sky Low Low. What's that?
That was the little person, bald wrestler.
Okay.
So he was one of the famous ones, the famous little people midget wrestlers.
I see. Okay. I wasn't a big person into midget wrestling. Once I found this, I changed my mind.
Yes. That's what they look like now. Back then, they didn't look like that.
No.
The women wrestlers.
So let me bring up a couple more of these. You tell me, see, all right, that was Superstar Billy Graham. Yeah. You have to hold my hand here because, again, I was in this for a very short time. The people I do remember, there's a couple that I do remember. Bruno Sammartino.
Sure.
I remember as a kid, that was he was really huge. And I remember him going, I remember it being very popular. Okay, let's see. Who's this? Here we go.
That is Baron von Raschke. Baron von Raschke. His big thing was, well, he was from Germany. He was like almost, I want to say, he was like this close to like wearing like Nazi garb back in the 70s. And, yeah, I mean, it was like a baron from the Nazi army. And his big thing was he would flip you into the ropes, and then that claw would grab you on the head and you into submission. So his claw was so strong.
That was the hook.
That was his closing gimmick, that he would claw your head and then you'd give up.
You know, I even like the magazine though, the beige grade magazine with the classic, that the typesetting was like, you know, that word wrestling was a big typeset. Like
it was the wrestling typeset. Yeah, that was. I used to have these, dude. I used to have pictures of wrestling magazines that I'd rip them out and I hung them on my wall in my bedroom.
Yeah, little retard workshop. For Walt and his brother.
Baron von Raschke.
The claw. Now that you bring up the claw thing, I can't remember that. I think I do.
The claw. He was the claw guy.
Next guy up.
This close to being a Nazi. This is Pedro Morales.
I don't know. I don't remember him at all.
Pedro Morales was the.
He looks like Woodstein number 50.
Yeah, what I forgot how he got his title, but he was like a title holder. What they do is they do a title holder. So when they want to switch it from like a bad guy to a good guy, they let him win it first, and then they let him lose it to a bad guy, and then they give it to a good guy. So
white hat and the black hats, right?
And plus, he brought in a lot of the Latino population. This guy.
I don't remember this guy at all, by the way. Not at all.
Pedro Morales. He used to clap his hands all the time like this and get the audience going. And
he speak English?
Very broken English. Very, very broken English. You know.
And he was one of the good guys.
He was a good guy. I think he took the title right after Sammartino, but then gave it to Superstar Billy Graham or something like that.
Let me swing into one of these others. All right. Now this has got 3 people on here.
Yeah, well, those are the Funk brothers. So Terry Funk and Dory Funk Jr. in the back, and their manager Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South. Now,
I can't remember these guys either.
But you know, it's funny. I just saw this the other day.
You tell me all about them. Please do. Tell me all. About them.
What's his name? You know this. You know Mankind. Not Mankind. What's his name? Cactus Jack. Oh my God, the wrestler who's the comedian now.
Wrestler.
Yeah, you know. Oh my God, who's the wrestler that goes around that you can hire? He's a comedian. He sells out all the time.
I have no idea. I
You
know
know, not Jake the Snake Roberts, the other guy.
Jake. This I do know.
Mick
Jake.
Foley. Mick Foley.
Oh, Mick Foley. Yeah, we did hire him a couple times. Mick is the guy who has the sock.
Yes, he was Mankind with the sock, but anyway, he was on Facebook saying that the guy with the white hat on, Terry Funk, is in so much pain that he doesn't even know if he can live with it anymore. Because he was the first guy that used to take the chairs and the ladders off his head. He was the guy who almost invented it.
And then he's like bad shape.
He's like crippled from it. Yeah.
I will tell you, I had booked from my entertainment company, Mick Foley, for a communion party at Gargiulo's a few years ago.
Yes.
And we did superimposed pictures of all the kids in the ring with him. I didn't even know who he was. I had no idea. The guy said, I want to see, I get him. And we had him come in. The nicest guy you ever met.
Yeah, really. He was Cactus Jack. He was Mankind. He was Mick Foley.
And we had he would sign all the socks. Apparently, it was something with a face on a sock.
Well, that's what it was. He used to. Then he turned into a goofball wrestler where he was going around with a sock. I think it was Socko or something was the name of the puppet. And he used to he almost played like he was challenged, and the puppet, he believed it was real, and all the kids bought it, and they would sell them at the wrestling matches and stuff like that. But Dory Funk Jr. was the first champion back. He was a champion back in the NWA, National Wrestling Alliance, but he took a beating, and he's paying for it right now.
That's terrible.
Just saw it the other day. I swear to God.
Jake the Snake, I had hired also. He lived in Florida. This was like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think I spoke to his wife, who's his manager, and we made arrangements for him to fly up here. He did a Sweet 16 for me. The kids were like crazy about him. And I had to go up at the airport and bring him to the venue. And we did this special event right here in Marlboro, New Jersey, actually. And he was a very nice guy. He was very nice too. However, I had to pick him up at the airport at 4:00, and the gig was like at 7. And I went and I got to the airport at like 4:15 or something because there's traffic going down to Newark. And his wife called me at like 5:02 and said, he's sitting in the airport. You're not there. I said, I'm so sorry. I get so she goes, sorry. He's about to get on the plane, turn around. I'm talking him down right now. He's going to get on the plane. He's going home. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? I hit some traffic. I mean, I'm on his way. I'm back. I'm not. Don't leave him hanging there. He's really twit. But I picked up. He was fine. So I don't know if it's her or.
He was one of my. Jake the Snake was one of my favorite wrestlers back then because he did this.
I didn't know him either until I booked him. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, he was cool. He used to walk around with a snake, and they were all drugged up snakes, and he would put them on wrestlers. He DDT'd into the ground, and they were out cold, and he put the snake on him and wrap him up. And when he woke up, the snake was on him, and he all freaked out. But he had his drug problems. Jake the Snake.
That's what I heard, but I don't want to bring it up. But that's what I heard.
Bring it up. What do I care?
Yeah, what do you care? You don't have to book him in the future. All right. Next up. Oh, okay. Who's this guy?
That's the big cat, Ernie Ladd.
I remember the name. I don't remember.
He was like 6'7" or something like that. No super skills. I think he might have had some kind of a claw too, where he put his hand on you because he had such a big hand and made you give up with the cat claw or something like that. But he was one of the big time African American wrestlers. Can I say black? I'm gonna say black for the time being, but
he looks like he should have been in 1972 episode of the Mod Squad.
Yeah, he does look like Link, right? He looks like Link.
Yeah,
he looks like Link, but I think he played for the Jets too.
Oh, wow, okay.
Played for the Jets.
Let's see, a couple
big
more.
Cat, Ernie Ladd.
Yeah, Nick Foley.
Oh, it was Mick Foley. He was Mick Foley.
Roadhouse, Terry Funk.
Yeah, he was in the movie Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze.
I didn't know that. There were some of the best characters with the managers, like Freddie Blassie. We have them coming up.
They're coming up. Freddie Blassie and the Grand Wizard.
Got him coming up, Castelli. Terry Funk Roadhouse. There we go again. Nick Foley, whether fake or not, would fall off a 25-foot high steel cage.
And he's another one that's going to be hurting when he gets older, because that guy, he literally would fall off the top. Even though the ring had a cushion to it and it had some springs on it, you're still falling flat on your back on a ladder. That guy used to go in there and they'd have tacks all over he'd walk out with tacks stuck in him. He didn't care anything about himself, this guy Mick Foley. What's that say?
I just want to whack Walt.
This guy, we're gonna have to ban him from the show.
Ernie Ladd was a pro football player.
He was for the Jets. I believe he played for the Jets.
All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, this next guy up is who? Oh, we know him.
That's Ernie Ladd. Oh,
my goodness, this guy is huge.
This is Abdullah the Butcher.
Who?
Abdullah the Butcher.
Abdullah the Butcher. Okay.
Now he would look at how much fat is in those pants.
It's hanging.
It's hanging. Now, what is hanging in there?
I don't know.
It looks like it's only on one side a flap of fat, right?
It's just weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this guy here, if you look at his head, he used to have legendary fights with this guy, the Sheik, right?
Okay.
He used to have legendary fights with him. If you look at his head, he's got all cuts in the top of his head. And what they would call that is blading. So they take a little thin razor, the sharp part of it. I'll go over here. They put that sharp part of it, and they would cut themselves, and it would draw blood. And then the sweat from wrestling would make it look like you were profusely bleeding. And the announcers would.
That sounds insane.
Yeah, but this guy's head is so scarred up from the razors that he used to do tricks where he can actually hide a pencil in between the grooves of his head.
Can't we all?
I hide it in different places.
It looks like he could hide a pencil box underneath his right breast.
Abdullah, the guy's name, his name is Abdullah the Butcher, but his real name was Larry Shreve.
He could hide a blind man on the street selling pencils under his right breast.
I want to say he's not alive, but I think he is alive. Because
you want me to Google it up and see?
No, because I got nothing to talk about anymore about him.
I'm done with that guy. I'm done with
that. Yeah, I'm done with Abdullah the Butcher, but he was a classic. Now, this is a guy you were talking about. This is Ken Patera. He was actually in the Olympics, in weightlifting in the Olympics.
Okay.
And this guy was built, and you said that you saw superstar Billy Graham, and he had the bench. This guy used to bench press tons of weight. As a matter of fact, I remember on the World's Strongest Men competition, and this guy was pulling a tractor trailer with his teeth. That's how strong he is.
Okay, even strong teeth.
But Ken Patera, yeah, he was a bad guy. I don't think he was ever a good guy.
What makes you a bad guy or a good guy in wrestling?
Well, what happens is they call the good guys baby faces, and they call the bad guys heels.
I didn't know that.
Yes, so those are the terms. And when the baby faces, that's who everybody was cheering for. And if you were a really good heel, like Rowdy Piper was a very good heel, he got people so angry that they came out just to see him get his ass kicked.
Here's a question for you.
What is that?
Question is ask Walt about Plowboy Frazier, if he remembers him. Do you remember Plowboy Frazier? I
do not remember Plowboy Frazier, but Dave, I'm going to take a guess that was the porn site you were on and not the wrestling.
Plowboy? I don't know. Robert Shreve, best known for the ring as Abdullah the Butcher, is a Canadian retired professional wrestler. He also is involved in some sort of most violent and bloody hardcore wrestling matches of all time. He's 80 years old. Wow.
Oh, so he is alive. I thought I saw something of him being alive.
I thought diabetes would have gotten that guy
a long time ago.
He's coming up, Tom.
Coming up.
Want to ban me, you sissy?
I'm going to take that guy out, man.
You got to take him out. Well, I can tell you he's going to be staying at Newark Airport on Wednesday into Thursday morning. You can grab him.
I am there. I am there. You know where I am.
Yeah, come get him. Come and get him. So this next guy up.
Come and get me, Samino. Come and get me. Oh, there's
who is it?
Stan the Man Hansen.
I don't know. I don't know this guy either, Walt.
This guy's from Borger, Texas. I'm going to tell you the best story about Stan the Man Hansen. He was a classic bad guy. This guy here, he used to wear, you see the thing on his arm? The lariat. They used to call that the lariat.
Okay.
And what he used to do is his finishing move was he throw you into the ring ropes and then hit you with that arm pad.
Boom.
Right? Yeah, he hit you. He'd hit you right across the head with that, and you'd go down and you're out cold because you got hit with that. And everybody always thought there was something in that.
Like, something, right?
Yeah, it was, you never knew what was in it, but you always suspected was something in it. Almost like Trump.
The man today. Where is he today?
Almost like Trump's taxes.
It's something in there. Once you find it, we're gonna know.
Right, but anyway, he was on an interview one time, and he was like, "Nobody can withstand our lariat. Nobody can withstand it." And then all of a sudden, quarters started falling out of it, like silver quarters started. And he was like, "Whoa, I don't know how they got there."
That's so funny.
But he actually is credited with breaking Bruno Sammartino's neck.
Did you really?
With that lariat?
For real?
Yes.
I do remember years ago, Bruno Sammartino having that white collar on. He was talking about things and stuff.
That's how he used to talk all the time. Hey, Vince McMahon. That guy broke my neck. Got the quarters inside him.
Wow, I remember this. And I also remember Bruno saying, my name is Bruno. I will take my arm and put it around your neck, and I will take it and squeeze your arm like an Italian noodle. I'll twist it.
That's right. Vince McMahon. That's the way he used to talk all the time.
Yeah. So this guy, was that just all a play of like characters?
Yeah.
Just all.
He was a very big guy in Japan too, from what I understand. So Japanese wrestling, he was a monster from America,
Why don't we ask Gary Michael Cappeta? Michael, can you tell us, was that all just a plan? Or was that? Ask Gary Michael Cappeta.
Ask Gary. Yeah, it was all planned to break Bruno Sammartino's neck.
All right. Who's this guy? This guy's.
This is the sweet man, the sweetest man around. This is Dusty Rhodes. Dusty, American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. This guy was good.
This is the only sport where you could be a fat guy and still do well.
Back in the 70s. Now you can't do it. You can't do it now because they're all steroid whores. But this guy was from Sweetwater, Texas. And that's how he used to talk with his lisp. It said, I'm gonna sweet that in. I'm gonna show you everything I got tonight, and then tomorrow you're gonna be begging for more.
Oh man, it's such useless information. It's just amazing.
Yeah, he was the champion for a while, and he had some drag out battles with the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Did Bob hold the title for the longest? Is the question.
Who?
Did Bob Backlund hold the title the longest?
I would say Bruno Sammartino probably held it the longest, but Bobby Backlund held it for a long time, and it was really just bad because he didn't have any kind of gimmick. He was just like an Olympic wrestler, and he used to do training to show you how his cardio was. But they used the Iron Sheik as a bad guy to beat Bob Backlund, and then to give the title the next month to Hogan. That's when Hogan came in. So Backlund had it, gave it to the Sheik, and then Hogan. Who's that?
Charlie Fisher. He's the son of a plumber.
Oh, that's right. He used to say that all the time. Hey, Gordon Soler. I'm a son of a plumber.
And he has two sons that still wrestle, which is interesting. And we were
Barry Windham and Kendall Windham.
And we're asking a little bit about this question. John Stanley Hansen is the American retired professional. Hansen is known for his whole style of wrestling, which he attributed to his poor eyesight. He's also known for his gimmick as a loud, violent cowboy who wanted to fight everybody, which further emphasized him appearing in interviews with a cowboy hat, leather vest, bull rope, and often chewing on tobacco. Considered to be one of the most popular and ganjin in Japanese professional wrestling history. He's become well known for. So I didn't know. Well, you're right. You're right on the money with that stuff. Wow.
Big guy. Him and Terry Gordy. Him Bam Bam Gordy used to be big Japan wrestlers.
Daniel goes, Bruno recognized me at a show. We went backstage to talk, and he knew who I am because I made pizza with the legend there in the WWE, including Nash Hall, Ted DiBiase, Bob Backlund, etc. Wow.
Who's that? Who was that?
That's Daniel Romano.
Daniel Romano. I like his cheese.
I see that Tom met Andre the Giant at MSG. Felt like Ken doll.
What? Andre, he's a big mama.
Yeah, I do remember him being really, really
good. It was from Grenoble, France. It was from Grenoble, France. That's where he was from. Good story about this. My brother will tell you all about this one. That's Larry Zbyszko on the left there and Tony Garea on the right.
Okay.
Larry Zbyszko from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tony Garea was from Auckland, New Zealand. And we were going to matches. My mother was taking us to matches in Bayonne High School. Right? Bayonne High School. So we park in back of Bayonne High School, and we're walking up with Tony Garea and Larry Zbyszko.
Right.
And, you know, me and my brother, two goofballs, like, you guys are going to win tonight, right? You're going to win tonight, right? And they're like, yeah, pal, we're going to win. You little whippersnapper. That was our brush with Tony Garea and Larry Zbyszko. And then Larry Zbyszko, he got trained by Bruno Sammartino and then turned on him, and then he became a heel for the rest of his career.
What's funny too is that all these Catholic high schools used to do the wrestling matches on.
Right.
Like, you know, it was like, all right, Friday night's bingo, Saturday night is wrestling, and Sunday is church, and then bingo after, right? So it's so.
Let
funny.
me tell you. Also on that card was Baron von Raschke. Remember the Baron von Raschke with the German SS uniform on, and he used to come out. He got the monocle. You know, he had this. I saw him before the match, and he was sitting there. He had on like a Gilligan fishing hat with a Hawaiian shirt, reading a book with like a pair of glasses on. I'm like, dude, you're not Baron von Raschke.
I'm so glad you're holding this show tonight because I don't know all these. I don't remember. I really don't. I don't know. I said to you I would do it because like you knew about it. Otherwise, we were both sitting here with our finger up our nose. I don't know.
Right? No, this is the useless knowledge. This is the kind of stuff you're going to get when we do the Batman show.
All right.
Ox Baker.
Who?
His name was Ox Baker.
That is a face only a mother can love. Look at that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you that Ox Baker was just a wrestler, a brawler. He was always a bad guy, never a good guy. But you know what movie he was in? He was famous for.
Let's see. Maybe looking at all that hair. I don't know. I mean,
he was in.
I mean,
you remember the movie Escape from New York with Kurt Russell?
Yeah, great movie. Yeah.
Yeah, Snake Plissken. Remember Snake Plissken had to go in and fight this guy with the club with the nail sticking out of it?
You know, yeah, faintly, yeah.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
That is one weird looking guy.
Yeah, Ox Baker. He was another one that, you know, you saw him off air and he was just looked like the nicest guy, but that's the face he put on every time he was in every wrestling magazine that I owned.
Wow. And was he huge? Was he a huge popular? I mean, I don't remember him like Bruno Sammartino.
He was a bad guy in the, I want to say, Championship Wrestling from Florida. That was another one on Tuesday nights at 11 o'clock. I used to have to go in the kitchen because my UHF channel worked best in my kitchen, but everybody was sleeping at 11 o'clock, so I had to put the headphone, like an iPod headphone, into the TV and run it all the way to the chair, but I had to bring the chair close enough so the headphone could go in my ear so I could watch these idiots on TV till 12 o'clock and then not be able to go to school.
This is a funny comment. It's true. He looks like Ming from Flash Gordon. He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm sure he's dead. He must be dead.
He's got to be dead.
He's dead. He probably smelled too a lot.
Yeah, he looks like he'd be a smelly guy.
He looks like a really.
He looks like he'd have the smell of garlic coming out.
Really smelly guy. He looks like Gene Trifolo without a shirt on. That's what he would look like.
Leave Gino alone. Leave
Gino
alone.
Hey, congratulations to Gino. There's your boy, Andre the Giant.
Now, Andre, I do remember watching. He was really, really popular, hugely popular, and he was so big. I mean, you couldn't help notice him. And he used to win every match. I remember he was like always like the winner.
Who could beat him? He used to wrestle two guys in a handicap match and beat them.
How big was this guy?
He had to be like 7'6" or so, 7'8". But he was one of those guys from Grenoble, France.
Oh, he's from France. Yeah, I would have thought he would have been a Slavic state. How do you like that?
No, Grenoble, France is where this guy was from. But if you hear wrestlers, they tell stories about Andre that he used to, like, he'd go out drinking with them, and he'd drink like 120 beers. He could drink 120 beers in one.
Nice. I mean,
I know, one night. That's amazing. But yeah, I could. They used to. He could fart the longest. I mean, it's just The stories they had about Andre were crazy.
You think he's still alive?
Oh, he's definitely dead.
Yeah, yeah.
No, he's definitely dead. There's no way he's alive.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I mean, I think he had a heart condition when he was wrestling.
You know, I think what we should do is do a show on the deaths of the 80s and 70s. People, the famous deaths.
Yeah.
Thinking how they died.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like a little, like autopsy. We'll do a little autopsy show.
Yeah, all about death. Death of
yeah,
a
I'll do that.
Death of
famous people who died mysteriously.
Yeah, that's a good show. All right, so this guy, I do remember the face, I do remember the look, but I don't, again, remember his name.
Oh, well, his name is Haystacks Calhoun.
Haystacks Calhoun. Okay, what's the meaning of this horseshoe around his neck?
Well, he was his gimmick was he was 601 pounds.
Oh, that was it. That's a good. Again, it's the only sport in the world, sumo, that you could be 600 pounds and make a living.
Yeah, so he was supposed to be just like that country boy who came and he was 601 pounds and I'm going to fight anybody who wants to get in my way. But he was always a good guy. He fought 601 pounds. You know, it was so funny when wrestlers, he used to fling them into the rope and then they try to knock them down and they would knock themselves down because you can't move. You can't move a 601-pound guy. But I do remember one time he fought Rocky Tamayo. And Rocky Tamayo was 401 pounds. So the ring announcers, I think it was like Gorilla Monsoon was like, they had to fortify that ring. It's 1,002 pounds in there, not counting the referee. But Haystacks Calhoun, I mean, he was not a jillick at all. He literally just would go in there and sit on somebody and pin them.
This is interesting too. I think there's these people, they traveled around the country, right? I mean, it wasn't glamorous life. I mean, you think like, you know, they're appearing at like a Catholic school gym on a Saturday or a Sunday in Des Moines, and then New Jersey, and then Ohio, and then San Francisco.
But here's the thing with this. Here's the thing. The wrestlers we're looking at, these big fat loads.
Yeah.
They were only in the territory. Vince McMahon in the WWF only had the Eastern Territory.
Okay.
So the Southern Territory was the NWA. The Minnesota area around there was the AWA. And they never
intermingled. They
never commingled. They had three wrestling alliances: the AWA, the NWA, and WWF. So it was Worldwide Wrestling Federation, which was WWF. Then they made it WWF, which is World Wrestling Federation, and then the World Wildlife Federation sued them, and they had to give it up. So that's when they changed it to WWE.
Your brother said he was buried in a piano.
That is correct. That is correct.
True?
Yeah, I don't know if that was a rumor that when he died, they had to bury him in a piano case. He was so big.
Andre had a big ranch in France, good friends with Rene Goulet.
Rene Goulet. Oh my God, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
And Andre was best known for his role in The Princess Bride.
Yeah, he was in The Princess Bride. He was with Billy Crystal or something like that. He was he was like the sidekick, the big sidekick. He was. I think he also played in the $6 Million Man. I think he might have been Bigfoot or something.
You know, that's another thing. I never understood the WWE, the WW. I mean, I remember Vince McMahon being like, you know, the guy was running things slowly. Then all of a sudden he created his own thing, and it became this huge thing. It was huge. Like all these wrestlers were making tons of money. And then they all, after a while, under working underneath his wing, they all wanted to get back at him because they wanted more money and benefits, and he wouldn't give them benefits, and he was paying them too little or something. I remember it was huge controversy.
They wanted to unionize. But he brought that all together when he brought in Hulk Hogan. He brought in Roddy Piper, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And then he brought Mr. T. If you remember Mr. T, so that first WrestleMania was Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, with Cyndi Lauper, who was like had the mega records going on at the time. Her husband at the time, David Wolf, They were all there, and they were Captain Lou Albano was their manager. So that's how Vince McMahon took it all on. Then he had Junkyard Dog, he had the Iron Sheik, he had, Nikolai Volkov, he had, all these guys, and they were making dolls and everything. I mean, he turned it into
the marketing, heavily marketing. I had met Lou Albano a couple of times because I had done all these at the Brownstone in Patterson, New Jersey. I had done tons of shows. And it was always, I don't know why, I'm not into sports or anything, but I was always surrounded by boxers. And I would do these boxers events, and a couple of times I met Lou Albano came in, and I met him, and he was, believe it or not, he was a really nice guy. Really nice.
I think they're all nice guys. They really were. I mean, anybody whoever I met has been nothing but a nice guy.
Yeah, he came over, he was hanging out, talking to me, telling me, but he loved comedy and this and that. He was just a really cool guy. And, you can't mistake him. He had that beard with the rubber bands.
He always wore the rubber bands. What
the hell that's all about? But again, these guys,
you remember it?
They know marketing, man. Now this thing, why did you send me this? What is this?
Well, this goes to, that was Captain. So that was a cartoon. If you look, that was Rowdy Roddy Piper on the left, the Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov. Then that was Mean Gene Okerlund, who was who just recently died. Hulk Hogan in the middle, Captain Lou Albano. You had Andre the Giant up the top. I'm going to say that was Tito Santana and Hillbilly Jim. So they had a gigantic cartoon that they made for the
announcer there. That announcer, I do remember that bald-headed guy with the mustache announcer. What's his name?
Mean Gene Okerlund. He just recently, I want to say he died in 2020.
Well, there's a good reason why he's not on the show tonight. That makes sense.
Yeah, he just didn't come.
But whatever's happened to
Gary Michael Cappeta.
He's alive. I don't know what's
there
going
was
on.
Another guy, another ring announcer that at the same time you would catch him on Sundays. He would go, and my name is Joe McHugh. So it was Joe McHugh. So those were the two ring announcers.
Let's bring up this guy.
I bet you a lot of people don't even know who this is. This guy's name was Bobo Brazil.
Bobo Brazil. Okay.
Bobo Brazil. You want to know what Bobo's finishing move was where he would win?
You were really into it. You know them all. Like know the history.
Bobo Brazil. His head. He hit people with his head because it was hard as a coconut, they said. So that was his finishing move. If Bobo hit you with his head, you were done. You lost.
So a black guy who has a coconut head. That's gonna be
now you can't do it. Now you can't do it, but back then you could.
Bobo. And he's a very strange-looking person.
Yeah, I don't know where he was from. You know what? He might have been from Philadelphia. I'm not sure, but Bobo Brazil. Yeah, he was one of the big-time African American guys back then.
Mm-hmm.
Bobo.
Now this guy I know.
Polish power.
Yeah. Now, and the reason why I even brought that up, I think I have a picture of him back in the day. Where is he? No, it's not here. I think I have it down here. Okay, so is this him again? No.
Yeah. Well, that's
it's the Polish power. I'm looking for the Polish power. Hang on. What's the Polish power's name?
His real name is Scott Bednarski.
What was his name on stage?
Ivan Putski.
Here it is. This is
Ivan Putski.
Ivan in his heyday.
He was one of the built guys back then, little Polish guy.
I remember him coming out. This guy I do remember. He used to wear a hat, like a poor boy cap, and he come out holding a sausage. And
it was him and the Mighty Igor. Mighty Igor also did that.
Oh, did he? Am I confusing him?
You might be, because I don't remember. Maybe on the interviews he used to come out with the hat on, because he just probably got there.
Some hook. So what was his hook about? He used to go Polish power, and he had what, the Polish hammer?
The Polish hammer. So he would put his both hands together. So he'd throw the guy into the ring rope. He'd come at him and hit him with the hammer, and that was it, man. You were done.
So one guy would squeeze you with the hand, and that
the claw.
The other guy had the rope with the coins in it. This guy had the Polish
hammer. Right. And Dusty Rhodes had the bionic elbow. So if he hit you with his elbow, you were done.
Now, this guy was in great shape. To look at the physique on this guy.
Yeah. I want to say his kid played for like Texas Longhorns College or something.
As he got older, boom.
He doesn't look bad there. I mean,
No.
He's an old, old Polish guy. He's probably still alive too. I didn't hear Ivan Putski died.
Too. But he was in great shape, man. He was physically in great shape.
He was one of those guys that used to make his pecs go up and down.
Yeah, I could do that, but you won't.
I could do that. Oh, I just hurt myself doing it. Holy God! Or I'm having a heart attack. One of the two.
Yeah, probably both. You don't want to have a heart attack till you go away. This guy.
Well, Rocky Johnson. Now, this guy, Rocky Johnson, used to team up with Bobo Brazil. But do you know what Rocky Johnson is famous for?
I have no idea. Can you tell me what is Rocky Johnson famous for?
Rocky Johnson, the best part of Rocky Johnson came out of those purple shorts. He is the father of
Please don't tell me that.
Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Get out of here.
That's his father.
That's Wayne Johnson's father. Wow.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. That's his father. Rocky Johnson and Dwayne Johnson. So when he
and made no money compared to his son, became huge, just huge. Wow.
Well, his son probably makes $30 million a picture.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's like one of the A-list. I mean, he gets called to do movies before, Tom Cruise does these days.
Do you think he's still alive, that guy?
I don't think Rocky. No, I don't think he's alive anymore. I think I saw that he died.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Another one because you know everybody.
SD Special Delivery Jones, man.
Never heard of him.
All right, he's from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but when his gimmick started going, I mean, they all have a gimmick. He was coming from something in the West Indies. He started wearing like the hat and the garb from the West Indies, but he was what you called a perennial loser. So whenever Andre the Giant would come in the ring, as you're yawning,
I'm sitting okay, Rusty Jones, whatever.
Right,
I tell you what, one of these days I'm going to do a show with you about all ventriloquists. I'll be sitting here saying, and this guy was on this, and this guy did that, and you'll be like, yeah, all right. I'm sorry,
but
yeah.
He was what they call a jobber. That gives me to throw that term out to you, a jobber, and that is a guy who goes in the ring to lose to somebody to put the other guy over. So he was always the good jobber who would always put over the bad guy.
Let me check the comments real quick here. There you go. Rob Castelli goes jobber. There you go. Jobber. Mom was a Samoan, is what he said.
Yes, actually, that was Rocky Johnson, The Rock.
Yeah.
So his grandfather was the High Chief Peter Maivia, which was a Hawaiian Samoan. No, it wasn't Samoan. I think he was Hawaiian.
Everyone the same thing. He always knew he was going to lose to the A-list guys. He was that's what you call a jobber. Always lost.
Yeah. See?
Look at that. John Glossico. He lived in the Bronx. We knew him.
See? Who? SD Jones, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but there wasn't many black people in the Bronx. I'm surprised.
I reached out to SD to do the show tonight. He didn't answer me either.
Well, this other guy did.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be on. I don't know, Gary Michael.
I didn't want him anyway. I didn't want Gary Michael Cappeta anyway.
All right. Well, you got what you deserved. You got exactly what you wanted.
Worked out pretty well.
It worked out very well. As a matter of fact, I'm so glad you know these people. I don't know. We're almost done. I want to buzz through the rest of these real quick.
Bang out.
You ready? This one here is whom?
From Asbury Park, New Jersey, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Never heard of him. Never heard of the guy.
That's a real tattoo on his head. He died recently. Oh, not recently. I would say about 7 years ago, Bam Bam died. But that was his big thing from Asbury Park.
After wearing an outfit like that, he should be killed.
Bam Bam Bigelow. He was a bad guy, and then he became a fan favorite.
I love the way they could go from one thing to the other. Amazing. How about this guy?
Bruiser Brody.
Don't know him. Never heard
of him. Crazy guy.
What's the deal with the forehead? It looks like he's got the cuts in the forehead.
Yeah, he was nuts in the ring. He was very big in Puerto Rican wrestling, like in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. And then Bruiser Brody had the legacy of he got in a fight with I forgot what this guy's name was, Gonzalez. It's just a regular jobber. A regular jobber, and the guy stabbed him to death in the locker room.
The names that come up: Billy White Wolf.
Billy White Wolf was Chief J Strongbow. I think I got a picture of them. Chief J Strongbow and Billy White Wolf.
King Kong Bundy, Atlantic City. That's right.
He was from Atlantic City, New Jersey.
All right, let's roll another one. So this one,
that's Ivan Koloff, the Russian bear.
What's his name?
Ivan Koloff.
Ivan Koloff. Yeah, I remember him being very popular. Okay.
So he won the title. So he was that transitional guy. So when they wanted to give it from Pedro Morales to Bruno Sammartino, you got to have a bad guy beat him. This is the bad guy, and then they give the and then Bruno comes in and beats him, and now Bruno's the champ.
Okay.
There you go. That's Billy White Wolf and Chief J Strongbow.
And then they used to come in and do like a little Indian dance around the ring.
Well, that was when Chief J Strongbow, he was getting beat up. He would start the people would chant, and he'd start getting that momentum, and then you could hit him, and he would just keep going around like woo, and then he would be hitting him with his hip, and he was indestructible at that time because he was in the zone.
And you know what's so funny? We live in a world today where everything's cancel culture. They're taking down statues. They're changing the names of teams because it has an Indian name. They take the Mrs. Butterworth off the thing and Aunt Jemima, and meanwhile, but 1970, you could get dressed up as an Indian and run around and go woo 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 woo.
Yeah, and his name was Joe Scarpa from Brooklyn. So Joe Scarpa, and the other guy was like an Egyptian name or a Middle Eastern name like Adnan Al-Kasi or something like that.
Let me bust through these. We don't have much time left. Here we go. Who's this?
Executioners. The Executioners.
Good. They were popular.
Great match. Great match. They used to fight Strongbow and White Wolf all the time. Best match they ever had against Strongbow and White Wolf that they were getting beat by them. One of them got put in a sleeper hold by Chief J Strongbow, rolled out of the ring onto the floor. Lou Albano rolled him under the ring, and a new executioner came out with a mask on and went in the ring and pinned him. Yeah.
Now this guy,
George the Animal Steel.
Now, what I remember about this, and I don't remember a lot, but George the Animal Steel, I do remember watching him. It was disturbing because he would get somebody a headlock, and he wouldn't like focus on what he was doing. He would just do things to people and be looking up in the air like as if he's listening to somebody. It was almost like he's an insane person, giving you noogies. Like I remember, like he was like
that was it. That was his act.
And he would stick his tongue out. Would he do this like this?
It was green. His tongue was green.
Why was his tongue green?
That's how he painted his tongue green. I don't know. That was his gimmick. That he ate turnbuckles. Everybody loved it when he ate the he ripped the turnbuckle apart, making believe he ate it. But the fact of the matter is, this guy was like a college professor in Detroit.
Get out of here! He seemed like an insane person.
Yeah, no, this guy was. He was a college teacher or a professor in Detroit, Michigan, and
dead or alive?
Yeah, that was his real name, George Steele.
You think dead or alive?
Oh, he's got to be dead. George the Animal Steel. He's got to be dead.
What about his hair? Still alive or dead?
Evidently, the hair on his back is still alive.
We went over those. We went over that guy. And real quick here, the hero. Everyone, this guy was popular too. What was his name?
That was Scott Steiner. Everybody they called him Big Papa Pump. But he was another just a crazy. Everybody was really afraid of him going into the ring. Like he could really hurt you.
He's big. Now this guy, remember, I liked him because he had his bizarre. He come on with a bizarre character, the Wizard.
The Grand Wizard of Wrestling, McMahon. You're looking at the next world champion. He was the Superstar Billy Graham's manager.
Why? I don't know. All right. And by the way, speaking of Superstar Billy Graham, is a picture of him later on.
Yeah, that's when he was crippled.
Yeah, didn't he turn around? He came out too and spoke against
steroids. Yep.
Because he was like shaking and had all kinds of problems. Dead or alive?
Oh, he's got to be dead. I would say he's dead.
Okay. All right. This one I remember.
Pat Patterson.
Yeah.
Pat Patterson is one of the guys that works for McMahon now, but he was just an average wrestler back then. No big deal. Middle of the card guy. But he was known for when wrestling, they would talk, when they had all kinds of initiations to get in. He was on the Cream team.
The Cream.
Pat Patterson.
Now here's Andre the Giant. And I see on the right-hand side, that was the Italian guy,
Bruno Sammartino. I'm not
Sammartino.
sure. That middle guy might be Gary Michael Cappeta.
It might be. It very well might be.
That might be him. It looks like a ring announcer, but he doesn't look. Andre doesn't look too tall next to these two guys.
Maybe he's sitting down.
He might be. He might be.
Let's just check the comments real quick. We're already over. We're done. We're finished.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say. They're saying Ron Patterson died. Record scandal. Oh, live. They're saying it live. Ernie Roth was the Grand Wizard.
Okay.
And Mrs. Piscopo is math teacher. Wow, now brown cow.
All right. Oh, well, I guess that was George Steele. He used to do that like a kid's thing.
Green Now-a-lators. He meant Mal-a-lators. He must be using his voice to phone. Actually,
way to go.
I got to tell yeah, college professor George Steele.
Yeah, see?
Now, your brother wrote Bulldog Brower. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Bulldog Brower was another like a bulldog type. They used to have to put a rope around his neck with a cowbell just to tame him, like almost like a bulldog. But he used to fight Mighty Igor. I saw him down at Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City, man. I saw it all. As a matter of fact, I think I might even still have that card. The poster for it.
Interesting enough here too. Tom goes, my first book report in high school was Whatever Happened to Gorgeous George.
Yeah, Gorgeous George was that first guy, the flamboyant guy that came out. Wasn't that great looking guy, but he came out with the robe on, and Ric Flair was him, and superstar Billy Graham and Hulk Hogan. They all went back to.
I'm gonna go out of comedy. I'm gonna become the ventriloquist wrestler.
You could do that, and you have the puppets beat the guys up, like they spray dust.
No, I come in with the puppet. I wrestle people. I put the puppet down, and as soon as they get weird, I go and pick up the puppet and smash them. They say Superstar is alive.
Who?
Superstar Billy Graham is alive.
Oh, he is. All right. I would say I thought he was dead, but he's alive. Good for him.
S.D. Jones passed away.
SD Special Delivery.
What Jones. Is it? Grand Wizard Mrs. Piscopo.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. That's a cryptic message from your brother.
Oh, wait a minute. Mrs. Piscopo. So we grew up with a lady, Mrs. Piscopo, and she used to wear those thin glasses like the Grand Wizard, and we used to call her the Grand Wizard. Not to a face, but
of course now you can to a face.
Yes,
face down probably.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago because you're old.
That was in the 70s.
So listen, you're going away to Jamaica, man, right?
Jamaica, man.
You was back on
Monday. I tell you, I had a great time with the show, and when we do the Batman show, it's going to be the same thing.
I'm just sitting here letting you flow. I'm just letting you flow. I mean, I'm just like, all right, go ahead. When you told me you wanted to do it, I was like, I really don't know that lessons, but I'll let you flow. So it's all good. It's all good by me.
Listen, I am never getting into a show that I don't know what's going on.
But I am, and I'm willing to. As long as we got one person that knows, I'm good with it. I just tell.
You're the comic relief.
If I come on here and bring on puppet makers of the 20th century.
I'm here with you. As long as you can carry it, I'm good.
I can carry it, but nobody's going to care about it but me and three other ventriloquists.
You, Rumba, and Landon.
Anyway, so what do you want to do next week? Who else is not going to show up next week?
What?
Who else will not show up next week?
I don't know. Let's see if we could do something like maybe the Die Hard movies or something like that. I don't know.
How about the hottest models of the 80s?
I'll do that. You pick the topic.
I'll
swing with anything.
By the time you come back, I'll have it already. All right. Well, it's too much fun. Cool crap. We love it. Episode 34. Next week is episode 35 because I said I would do 35 of these. Remember? So 35 was the test.
So you said we won't get any traction until 35.
35, but I committed to 35. But I have to let you know we missed episode 28.
I know.
Right, because we skipped over it. It's my fault. So what we're going to do is next we're going to do episode 35, which is actually the antithesis of the whole entire thing. And then the week after, we're going to do the surprise revision of 28.
All right.
We've got a very special one because it's the one that was missed. So we're going to do something about missing.
Yes. Oh, okay. Like Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, there you go.
Like
famous deaths. I like the idea of
famous. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Famous deaths. I'll do that, man. That hit the world, or were under suspicion.
Works for me. Sounds like cool. Or what they look like then and now. Models of the 80s, the 70s and 80s and now.
That's a great one. I like that.
Before, maybe we'll do 28 will be before and after. The before and after show.
Yes, I like that.
You and your brother when you were 70 years old. I'll bring up my pictures.
I think I love that because we could do like Tina Louise. She does not look good now.
I know, but then now we're just sitting here bashing people. Is that really nice to do?
But we're going to do that. We're going to do that in 2 weeks.
I mean, I just watched something on YouTube where they're talking about the models of the 80s, and one of the girls that they said was one of the top beautiful people in the 80s was the girl who was an alien. And I was like, she looks like a guy. But when guys thought she was hot, I'm like, get out of here. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Simon Parks?
No, Simon Parks was better.
Simon Parks was better. All right, so that's what we're doing. We'll do then and now models.
Then and now models. That works for me. Before and after. Before and after. All right, you have a great one. I'll see you.
Enjoy the week.
On the other side of Jamaica, you come back with a nice tan.
I'm all look. Hang on.
Yeah. There you go.
Let's get out of here now.
And what are we going to tell them?
We got to
the like button. Smash the
like button. Subscribe
on YouTube.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And like us on Facebook.
Where else can you catch us?
BitChute.
That's right, BitChute. Odyssey.
BitChute. We got a lot of fans on BitChute.
Fans on BitChute. There we go. There. All right.
Anyway,
see you next week.
I'm going to see Miss Elizabeth. Y'all be cool.